It's time for the Charlotte FC podcast.
No, anytime, man.
Hey, Nick Finelli here with the Charlotte FC podcast. Today, I'm lucky to have Marcelo Balboa, the Hall of Famer and broadcaster who, Marcelo, I was thinking about this. When you played, you probably couldn't even imagine that Spanish radio, Spanish TV with soccer in the U.S. was going to be as big as it is right now. And you're like in the middle of all of it. You're doing play-by-play, but you're also in the studio. You're working for Apple MLS, but you also do stuff for TUDN.
Yep.
What are your thoughts about just this evolution? Because it's pretty amazing.
I think that when we started this project, we'll say back in '90 when we qualified for the World Cup, the goal was always to have a professional league. The goal was always to have pressure on our national team because there's never really been a lot of pressure in the '90s. It was like, okay, great, they made the World Cup and no expectations. '94 it was a little bit more, '98, and it just kind of kept on growing. So to sit here and say that I was expecting this, no. Do I sit here surprised sometimes that I've been in broadcasting for almost 20-something odd years? I never thought I was going to get into broadcasting, but to sit here and think to ourselves how big soccer is in the United States right now, how much MLS is growing from English to Spanish to even French. It's in French, Portuguese next year, I believe. So, I think we knew where this league, the potential, and we're still growing. But to make it global now with Apple has been fantastic because now, people from Mexico to Uruguay watching the game, family and friends in Argentina are watching. So we're getting there little by little.
That's amazing. And of course, are you still in the Denver area?
I'm up in Boulder.
Okay.
Yes, I figured, that I used to coach the U14s in the academy. And it really helps me with my broadcasting because it really keeps you up to date, more modern with coaching. So I decided when I took the Apple job to still stay with the academy and be more like a specialized coach, help defenders and help, certain areas. And for me, I just feel like it keeps me in the game. It keeps me modern. It keeps me up to date on the tactics that a lot of coaches like to do. So I still enjoy it very much.
Awesome. So let's kick into what happened last night and what needs to move forward for Charlotte FC and NYCFC in this series, which could be coming to an end on Saturday because the almost lack of, I wouldn't say effort, but it was just a little lackluster for Charlotte FC. Yeah. Even knowing, this stat I just looked up today. Wilfred Zaha and Pep Biel account for 36% of all goals and 58% of all assists. So everybody knows that they were going to be missing that. Yeah. But I think just the effort and the trying, especially in the first half, didn't show a team that was like fourth in MLS.
Yeah, I think when we watched the game, and it almost looked like Charlotte was caught off guard. The way New York City pressed them, they pressured them, and even when I think it was Diani lost the ball, very lax, very, the first touch bounced in the air, and then the back four, we were sitting there going like, okay, Martinez gets the ball, he dribbles in, why didn't Diani foul him? Stay with him. Right. Diani backs up, and I'm sitting there going, as a defender, I'm like, that's a big no-no. And then the back line was flat. He plays the ball around, and then Tim Ream reacts too late. And by the time he got there, it was like done. So
he had to run around a lot of guys too, just to get there. And there were three others that could have also done the same thing.
Exactly.
Should have done.
Exactly. Yeah. So, for me, the first 45 minutes was like, all right, I give NYC a lot of credit. They came in and it looked like he almost caught Charlotte off guard. I think they thought maybe NYC was going to drop off and play a mid-block or a low block, and they stepped it up and pressed them, caught them off guard, got the goal, and then after that, they defended very well. I just felt like Charlotte was that playoff energy, that hype, that everything about it just wasn't there. You know what I mean? There was no reaction to the goal until the second half. So it's not over by any means. Don't get me wrong. Listen, here's the deal. Us broadcasters, us fans, I expect a lot from Charlotte just because of the money they spent, the hype of everything around what's going on in Charlotte. I expect them to reach a conference final. You know, that's the expectation. And I get the Saha wasn't there, but the worst thing that could have happened is they lost at home. Okay. On a big field. Now they're going to go to a small field, which fits perfectly into what NYC loves to do and wants to play and press you, not give you room. So they're not out, but it's definitely they've put themselves in a big hole.
Yeah, and you got to play more technical on that smaller field and without the personnel to do that. So thinking about personnel, you're going to get Zaha back for Charlotte. Who else or what other changes, if you're Dean Smith, do you make?
You know, I don't. You know, looking at the bench, I think the only one you can say could make a difference is Saha. Just because as a defender, you know his pace, and you know if he gets in behind you, you're in trouble. So I don't see much changing back there. You know what I mean? Especially on a small field, maybe. You know what I mean? Maybe you're going to be a little bit more direct. You have to go over the top. Let NYC at home is going to press you, so that's going to leave room over the top. But you're going to have to be able to play through the midfield. I thought that Westwood didn't have his best game. You know what I mean? Not one bit. So you can see the frustration at the end of the game with that foul. You know what I mean? So I get it. Listen, we all have bad games. The problem is you can't have two bad games in a row. So they're going to have to. For me, listen, the one thing everybody talks about, when you walk out on the field, you got to match the other team's energy. Okay? And last night, Charlotte didn't do that. And I think it showed. Everybody saw it. We're all in agreement, right? 45 minutes was not good. The second 45 was better. But, again, now you're chasing the game. Right. So it makes it a lot more difficult.
Now, as a player, because, you know, you played in the back, so you could see a lot more.
Yeah.
When things are happening like that, and if you're a captain or someone, do you just make the adjustments right then and there? Because it seems like maybe Ashley Westwood could have seen, like, hey, this is happening. Like, I'm not getting the ball enough. They're basically forcing Diani to play my role and zoning him. So he doesn't really have any paths. So do you make that change and be like, hey, I'm not waiting until halftime. Let's do this differently?
No. You got to stick to the game plan the coach has out there. Once each player thinks listen, as players, let's be honest. As players, we're on the field. We think we know everything. We think we know more than the coach, and it always happens. So the coach has a game plan, and either he can adjust it on the fly during the game, or you have to wait till halftime. And Dean Smith fixed it. They were a little bit more direct. Listen, for me, Charlotte's very, very good when they're direct. You know what I mean? When they start going side to side to side, it gives time for NYC to drop back, get in their low block, get their set. So I think when you watched a few times yesterday, when they won the ball and they sprung through the midfield really quick, they were dangerous. So, but I just didn't feel that playoff energy from them last night. And that can't happen again next Saturday.
Yeah, and especially I feel like in playoffs across all sports, the defense takes another level up.
Yeah.
So, and if you're already a goal behind, you know it's going to be even more difficult to score.
Yeah.
Now, do you ever look at particular stats at a game, or is it more of when you're watching, you're looking at the flow and how things are?
Listen, I think analytics has its place, you know, but I hear so many coaches rely and give me positives on the analytics, and you still lose. So what number can you really look at and say, okay, we need to do this to win the game? You know what I mean? So one, they need to be more direct. They need to be more dangerous for me. They need to bring more energy than they brought last night, because last night, I mean, NYC, you can clearly see, was well prepared for that game. The way they pressed, the way they did everything. They were repressing and winning the second ball. Yesterday, you guys would play the long ball, but you weren't winning the second ball. So at NYC,
I don't think they won a second ball at all.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So at NYC, when you are direct, you've got to win the knockdown. That's the second ball. You have to win it, because then you're in between those lines and you can attack. So for me, it was just more of, I needed more energy. I needed more energy from Charlotte last night. It was unfortunate. Listen, we all have bad games. And again, that's the beauty of a 3-game series. They're not out of it. This is a good team. We know how good they've beat Miami. We know what this group can do.
Hmm.
Now they're under the gun, though. You know what I mean? Now they've got to get it done. There's no room for a mistake. Listen, last night they made one mistake, really one deep mistake, and it
Right.
cost them a goal.
Yeah.
You can't do that at NYC. So
Yeah. I felt like NYC wasn't, I mean, I know they got the goal, but before then they weren't at all that threatening. They had, one that hit the crossbar,
yeah,
but it didn't feel like it was an onslaught of like, oh gosh, how are we going to get out of this?
no, but listen, when you watch that game for 45 minutes, you got pressed. Charlotte got pressed. They lost the ball. Listen, if that ball doesn't bounce up, Perea puts it in the back of the net. That's 1-0 early. Imagine that
Hmm.
mistake. Now it's 2-0. There wasn't an onslaught, but they created clear chances. That was a clear chance from Perea. So, and he missed it. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So
Right.
there
Right.
was two very good clear chances. So that's
And you can't even
what
give
worried me a
those
little bit.
up at all.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't have that. Now,
No.
so if you're New York, just more of the same and just hope that Charlotte doesn't adjust to it, or
No, I think you have to. I think you have to. When you play on a smaller field, last night's field was beautiful. I mean, besides turf, we all know, but it's a big, beautiful field. The
Mhm.
stadium's beautiful, the fans, it's great. But now you're going to go to a field that maybe maximum width of it is 68 if you're lucky.
Mhm.
68. That's not a lot of room to play. I mean, you've almost got to play one touch, ball in, ball out, ball in, ball out, because as soon as you try to control with that many people, they collapse on you and you're getting pressed in the middle of the field. So space to the corners, wide's going to be important. Balls over the top, you know what I mean? But I think NYC, when they're at home, why would you switch tactics? Why wouldn't you just go after
Right.
NYC early on a small field? You know they're going to go long, so you've got your 4 guys in the back plus your 6. Yeah, I don't see them changing. I would be shocked if on Saturday I see NYC drop into a low block and allow Charlotte to have that much room. You know what I mean? I would be very shocked.
Now with the Zaha absorbing a lot of attention, not only on the
Yeah.
ball but also mentally, in many ways, does New York play something different because knowing he's there? And does Zaha as a player, he wasn't out there. He wants to
Yeah.
probably make up. Is he going to be trying too hard?
Listen, I would rather have a guy trying too hard than a guy coming on the field and just kind of half-ass it. You know what I mean? So I don't see them changing. I could see them going to a 4-3-3, but I don't see them switching that 4-2-3-1 only because it worked last night. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It condenses it. Let's be honest. You always want to close the middle of the field. You rather have your opponents force them around you than through you. So I don't see them changing tactically too much. And if you look at patterns, they've gone to 4-2-3-1. They've gone to a 4-4-2. I don't see them playing 5 in the back. I really don't. But it's possible because such a small field that
Mhm.
leaves you the wing backs to go way up high and press more. So I think this game will come down to tactically how each team is positioned by the start.
Yeah. Now, when I talk about Zaha and him come into the game, I said, we've never seen him not play his
Yeah.
heart out. He's really all
Yeah.
into it. But as a player, and you miss something like that, do you feel like there's something he needs to do specifically, especially early, to be like show like, hey, I'm back kind of thing?
No, I don't think listen, I think he feels bad enough for what he did in that game. Let's be honest. That was silly to
Hmm.
get a red card for that. I think he knows it was silly. I know he knows he probably like we all do. We all feel bad and we feel guilty after, but we let our emotions get to us. So I'm sure that listen, he feels bad enough, especially after the result last night. So, like you said, you can see him over trying. Saha needs to do what he's best at. He needs to find the space and run at players, get in behind that back line. You know, what I mean that
Hmm.
when you're at your best is when you're going to help your team because if he does what he normally does, that means he's going to draw 2 players to the outside, maybe a third player. That means someone's going to be open to play for a pass back into the middle and you go to goal. So he has to play his game, you know what I mean? And like again, and you always want to play the best game of your life after you screw up on a red card.
Hmm.
So we'll see what kind of mentality he has that night. But I think it'll be very good. I think he knew what he did that day, and he wants to make up for it.
Yeah. So thinking about in your career as a player, what are things that you did if you were ever missing or out on a game, but maybe you had like a do or die game? Was there certain things that you all did as players and as leaders, or is there
Well,
something in the
listen,
locker room? What did
first,
you do?
every red card I got, I never deserved. So that's first of all. So
Of course.
no, you know what it is when you're a player and something like this happens, the important thing is making sure that you're positive in training. One, you apologize to your teammates for what you did, but throughout that week, you've got to make sure you want to make like, listen, I've been in a game where I've given up an own goal. It hits off me, goes in the back of the net. And the first thing you want to do is help your team get back into it. So you're a little bit more aggressive on set pieces. You know what I mean? To try to, especially the center back, because we don't have a lot of opportunities to get up there. So I think that Charlotte needs to go back to Charlotte. High energy, pressing, trying to win the ball in their third of the field. And like I said, I didn't see that last night because of the fact that I think that they got caught off guard. I mean, I didn't expect, I got to be honest, I wasn't expecting NYC to press high. I was expecting them to sit in a mid block. But when they pressed high, I thought, wow, what, that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, because you could see Charlotte was kind of caught off. So as a player, now you've seen that. Now, how do you counter that? How do you get out of that? And the mentality is do or die. Listen, you come out, you don't have the right mentality, your season's done. On Saturday, it's done. If you come out with the right attitude and you get a little bit of luck where you're trying to get in behind or this and that, you get out of there with the win and penalty kicks, whatever it takes, you live to fight another day.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Well, I know you have some games and matches you're going to be covering. So just kind of share where you're going to be so people can listen to you and watch you over the next week and learn from your expertise.
Well, thank you. Well, I'm blessed enough tonight. I'm doing the not the Seattle game, the LAFC Austin game, but I'm in the studio. So I'll be doing the preview, the halftime, and the post game in English for the first time. So I'm excited.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. Saturday, I'm in Portland doing the Portland-San Diego game, which San Diego won the first game 2-1. So, there's some great games coming up. I mean, look at all the games that are at Miami and Nashville. So, we're just waiting to see who the first upset is, Are these all going to go 3? Are they going to go 2? Listening to a lot of people this week, everybody thinks a lot of these series could go 2, especially in the West. Yeah.
Was last night's Charlotte FC the first home team that didn't win in the playoffs?
That was the first away win in the playoffs this year. Everybody else surprising. Everybody else won. Vancouver won at home. So, but we don't know. LA hasn't played yet, so we'll see tonight. LA and Austin play, but yeah, the one victory on the road was last night.
Which is a team that's known for playing very well at home.
Yeah.
So kind of interesting. All right. Well, where can people follow you on social if they want to catch all the other stuff you're doing?
Oh, Lord. Well, you can first, we're on Apple, and then it's like the same thing as always. My Twitter is Marcelo Balboa 17.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Marcelo. Appreciate you joining me, and good luck with the rest of the week. And thanks for sharing your insights.
Anytime, my friend. Have a great day.
You too. Again, thanks for listening to another episode of the Charlotte FC podcast, where we bring you the fascinating people who work for and around Charlotte FC and the world of football. The Charlotte FC podcast is edited and produced by me, Nick Finelli, and Eli Finelli. Please help us out and share this episode with others. 5 stars, and follow CLTFC podcast on Instagram, X, and YouTube. Until next time, enjoy the day.